Give me a second to calm him down, and then we can start. Get out of my crotch. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cheap Smut. My name is Katie Mizell.
And my name is Carl Mizell.
And this is a podcast that's here to answer all the hard-hitting questions. This week, how many orgasms is too many orgasms? Carl?
Wow. Great question. 7?
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't either, but we are doing a Pleasure Dom book this week, so.
Oh, so somebody out there's probably going, amateur.
Yep, right. How are you this week, baby?
I'm great. I mean, week-wise, great. Today, tired.
Oh.
Well, the girl child.
Well, I know. The girl child woke up at like 5 a.m.
Oh, no. It was like 4:30.
Okay.
Yeah, she woke up before, and she was like, it sounded like she was having a nightmare. Like, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. And that woke me up because she rarely asks for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I let her like fall back asleep, and then you were like, you should go in there. It's kind of cold. Maybe throw a blanket on her. She was dead silent for 10 minutes. And as soon as I walk in, oh, hi, Daddy. And she wants to have a conversation. Like, buddy, what are you doing here? It's so early. Eat shit, kid. But other than that, great week. A lot of fun going on with the show. A lot of great stuff in the works with the show.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that we're very excited that is happening that we can't talk about yet. But it is very, 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 very exciting.
Yes, it is.
So things are happening. Things are growing. I really love the work that we're doing here. I love the work that I do on the show. And I'm excited to record another episode with you. How are you?
Yeah. I'm great. I'm so good. It's been a pretty decent week, all things considered. I got to see an old friend today that I haven't seen in years. I was so excited to see her. I had such a good time. I got the biggest hug. I missed her so much, and I'm so glad that I got to see her today. I'm still floating on the cloud of being all happy from seeing my friend.
Yep. So if you're out there and you're listening now, Rosie.
Hi, Rosie. I love you.
It's great to see you. We'll see you again.
Yes.
Real soon, probably in a couple of weeks when I head back into Flint to get my sleeve, my left tattoo sleeve, hopefully finished.
Hopefully, that'd be nice. Yeah.
I'm going to try and muster up some of my old sitting stamina and just get this knocked out. Because I don't know if you remember, I got the entire like line work of Cthulhu on my right arm. I got that all done in one sit.
I remember that. Yeah.
I used to be able to just take it, but now I'm like, oh god, no, I'm good. Like, you've been here for 3 minutes. But anyway, so maybe we'll see her then. How are you? Oh yeah, I already asked you that. We talked about Rose. And
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, fuck it. Let's just do a podcast. Hopefully this dog cooperates. Knock it off.
He's being a lot right now.
Yeah, might have to take a pause and put him in his crate.
Himbo Jones, would you like to talk to the crowd?
You want to say something? Yeah, he's gonna try and eat the microphone. Yep, that's a dog.
Yep.
It's the sound of a dog trying to eat my windscreen. Jerk.
And that's Puppy Corner. Enjoy.
Yep. So, now that we've got Puppy Corner out of the way and all that other fun stuff, is there any other business to attend to before we just get right into it?
I don't think so. I think we're pretty much good to go.
All right. Well, if that dog can settle down.
Yeah, he's all right back there.
Get after it.
All right. So this week, I read a book called Hallows Grove by Lee Jacot.
There you go.
Last week, I was like, Jacquot. I don't know how to pronounce it. I looked it up. The French pronunciation of this word is Jacot, and so I'm calling her Lee Jacot.
All right.
This book is available for $2.99 or through Kindle Unlimited. It's 120 pages. It's a Halloween-themed romance. It's a very fun, enjoyable, funny, dirty as fuck.
Ooh.
It was a great one.
So it's really going to put the smut into a spooky Smuttober.
Oh, God, yes.
All right.
There's this is the, like, last week we ramped up. We are in it now. And there was smut last week.
Oh, yeah,
you
there
remember.
was
There
some
was some
smut.
major smut. But this week, oh, boy.
Oh.
All right.
All right. Well, let's get after it. Do we have any content warnings?
Our content warnings this week are, this is not technically a bully romance, but I'm going to tag it as a bully romance just to be on the safe side. But practical jokes, jump scares, and fear play are all a major component of this book. And also near exhibitionism, not quite exhibitionism.
Before we move on, I've heard you use the term before, and I'm not quite sure what it is. What is a bully romance?
A bully romance is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a romance where one of the MCs is a bully and the other one is their victim.
Okay. I figured as much, but
Yeah. It happens a lot in like new adult romances, like early 20s, 18 to 20s, somewhere in there, high school romances, although I don't read anything involving sex and minors, so if there are young adult romances with sex and bullying in them, I don't read them. A lot of the times it's like running into a childhood bully later.
Okay.
That happens a lot. But that's your basic premise. It's it's part of the bully and victim power dynamic feeds the sexual fires of a book like a bully romance. Our tropes this week, since I've decided I'm just gonna write the tropes down when I can. Our tropes are enemies to lovers, best friend's older brother, pleasure dom, and forced proximity. Our FMC this week, her name is Evelyn. For most of the book, she goes by Eve, so I'll just call her Eve. She is 28 years old, intelligent and opinionated, very quick-witted, and very quick to, like, snark. She is likely beautiful, but they don't really ever describe her in any detail. And she is scared of, quote, everything. She's a really high fear response to things, and she's super jumpy. At the start of the book, Evelyn is getting ready to go to a Halloween party with her best friend, Sierra. Sierra is hosting this Halloween murder mystery party for her job as a team building exercise because she has this really like ineffective, horrible team that she works with. So she's just trying to make them better in some capacity. And Eve has agreed to help her do that. They're going to be doing like a live action version of Clue.
That sounds terrible. I mean, that sounds terrible to me. First of all, if you are a member of an ineffective work team, don't bring them into your home.
Oh, they're not at her home.
That's what that was the impression I got. But then don't do that. Don't make them think on their feet.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how this game played out. I don't know if it helped the team at all, but I hope it did because Sierra worked really hard on it.
Yeah, and that's the important thing.
I appreciate that. So Eve has agreed to help Sierra with this. She's helping her set up, and she's also going to participate. She's playing the maid. She swears that's the only reason that she's going is because she gets to dress up as a sexy maid. Sure. No, it's mostly because she just loves Sierra so much and she really wants to help her. But no, it's because of the sexy maid outfit.
If you could go to a Halloween party as a sexy anything, what would it be?
Sexy Scooby-Doo. Like I said last week when Shannon dressed as Sexy Scooby-Doo and the Halloween, I thought that was the greatest. It was just, yes.
I was driving back from the Metro Detroit area today, and I just thought it would be fun to be a sexy donut.
All donuts are sexy already, so it would be pretty easy.
That's exactly my point.
Did you know Dunkin' Donuts came out with a whole like range of costumes this year for Halloween?
No.
I've been seeing them all over my TikTok.
I kind of want one. The only thing better than eating donkeys and drinking donkeys is being
donkeys.
Be the donkeys. Be the donkeys.
Be the donut you want to see in the world.
Damn it. You beat me to my own joke. And then you coughed over me talk.
I'm the worst.
You ruined this podcast.
I'm awful. We're canceling it right now. Goodbye.
You can find us on
I love it when you do that every time. It makes me laugh every time.
I love you.
I love you too.
All right. Anyway, so Sexy Maid.
It's Sexy Maid, yes. So at Sierra's apartment, while they are getting ready, in comes our MMC. His name is Dorian. Dorian is handsome, blue-eyed, in his early 30s. He is a college football scout.
Okay.
And he is Sierra's brother. Eve and Sierra have been best friends since Eve moved to town when they were kids. They were next door neighbors. They have been best friends since forever. That means she's also known Dorian this entire time, and he has always been her best friend's shitty older brother. The reason why Eve is scared of everything is because since they were kids, Dorian has been pranking her, pulling practical jokes and jump scares on her. And he says it's because he thinks it's hilarious and also because he likes to hear her scream.
Then just fuck her. Be nice to her.
Yeah.
Take her out for a nice meal.
Yeah.
And then if she's into it, fuck her.
Yeah.
Don't scare her like a fucking kindergartner.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's been doing this since he was in middle school when he really didn't have
Yeah.
any of the emotional ability to.
That's fair.
So Sierra and Dorian live together. And as much as Eve kind of hates Dorian for all of the general sort of mistreatment of her and scaring of her, she also can't really complain because she thinks he's super hot. She's got this weird attraction to him. She can't figure it out. He makes her blush and swoon like all the time with very little effort. So the chemistry between them is interesting, and it's interesting the entire book, but particularly in the beginning, because it's an enemies to lovers book and I don't read those very often, I was like, what is happening? What's going on? Do you like each other or not? Are you going to fight or fuck? What's happening? Because I feel like Eve should have swung on him a couple of times.
Yeah.
She was wearing 6-inch heels. She could have murdered him with one of them. But no, she fucked him instead.
Take off the shoe, bury the 6-inch heel in his ear.
Exactly.
Or fuck him.
So Dorian is also coming to the party, the murder mystery party this evening. He will be playing the butler. So he and Eve will be providing all of the table service because there's going to be a dinner. And then they will also participate in the murder mystery portion afterwards. During the scene, there's a sequence where so Eve takes a Clearly Canadian out of the fridge.
Wow.
You remember those?
Yeah, they brought him back.
They did. They're still super good.
Yeah,
I don't know what they
are.
put in those to make them so good, but they're super good.
Drugs?
Probably.
I wish.
Canadian drugs.
I hope.
The pure essence of Canada. That's why they're so great.
Yeah, and that's why I feel so good when I drink them.
Not really. There's a lot of bad things about Canada, particularly their treatment of their indigenous.
That's true.
So anyway, so there's a sequence with the Clearly Canadian. She takes one out of the fridge. There's this whole bantery thing about who bought it and who gets to drink it. And Dorian says, well, it's okay. He spit in every single bottle anyway, so it doesn't matter. They're all his. She opens one. It doesn't crack. So
put it down.
He did. But she's defiant and bratty, and she kind of hates him. So she takes a big old swig of it anyway. I'm not going to let him ruin this Clearly Canadian for me. And he leans in and whispers, "Do you like my spit in your mouth?" Whoa.
Jesus fucking
Holy
Christ.
moly.
Okay, first of all, we have encountered some real shitty MMCs. But right off the fucking jump, this man is in his early 30s.
Yeah.
And this is his idea of fucking fun.
Uh-huh.
Why? Why are we inviting him to this party? Gross.
I don't know.
Oh.
It's weird.
Fucking
and
hate
wild.
this guy already. I hate him more than I hate Bryce and him, bro.
Oh, wow. Really?
This motherfucker is spitting in beverages.
Bottled beverages. Yeah. Well, he does claim they're all his because he bought them. So he spit in all of them.
Jesus Christ.
It's whatever. It was kind of hot. Oh, you like my spit in your mouth? That was kind of hot. Not really, but kind of. I don't like spit, though. So that's maybe that'll be more to other people's likings. There's an energy to all of their interactions, this is in my notes, that is both dangerous and flirtatious at the same time. And I don't know what that means, but it's how it feels.
I know it. I can. Yeah.
Are we gonna fight or fuck? This is gonna either become violent or horny.
Right. With maybe or both.
Yeah. The scale is just sort of balanced, and all it's gonna take is one grain of sand.
Yep.
One way or the other. So on the drive to the party, Eve has a flashback. 5 years ago, she was on a break from her long-term boyfriend. Mm-hmm. She went to a Halloween party at Sierra's sorority house, and a masked man who was Dorian. There's a little bit of mask kink in there. Okay. Mask kink is like a whole thing. The dark romances, half the covers have masked faces on them.
Yeah, you were saying that recently, especially that neon mask trend.
Yeah, with the neon X's over the eyes and the mouth and stuff.
I've never hated anything faster than I hate. The first time I saw that, I was like, I don't like it. I don't know why. I had such a visceral negative reaction to it.
That's not for you.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's. I'm not saying it doesn't need to be in the world. I just was like, that not for me.
All right, so don't read any of those books.
I will not.
I guess. So a masked Dorian followed Eve into the bathroom to scare her. He turned off the lights and was trying to push the boundaries of scaring her a little bit. And she got mad, and in the dark he asked her if she was scared or wet. And that,
Jesus,
it's a thing though. We're talking in the realm of fear play. she gets turned on when she gets scared. So
Well, no, see, that's literally the first time that you've mentioned that she gets turned on when she's scared. You've talked about how jumpy and easily scared she is. You have not said she gets turned on when she gets scared.
Oh, I apologize.
That's non-consensual.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, there is some dark, weird stuff in here. I will give you that right now. I'm sorry, I forgot that I mentioned fear play in the content, and I forgot that you don't know what that is.
Well, no, I get what it is.
Yeah.
You just didn't mention that in addition to being easily scared, she gets turned on when she's scared.
She does, but she just hasn't come to that realization yet in the book.
Okay. Got it.
So everything between them after that moment kind of spiraled, and that was the first time she was really like, maybe I am attracted to Dorian, but because she was so terrified of all of those feelings, she went back to her long-term boyfriend, and she was with him for another few years, but now they are broken up for good.
Mm-hmm.
She is currently single. They reach the venue, the Hollows Grove Estate, which is beautiful but creepy. It's like this big house settled on the edge of a cliff or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's been featured in many horror movies, and it is also a wedding venue. So
So that's what that's like.
yeah, that's what that's like. Like, it's beautiful. Like the actual building is beautiful. It's all like updated and gorgeous, and marble floors and big chandeliers and stuff. But from a distance, because it's just this stark building on the edge of a cliff, it's been used in a lot of horror movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get out of the car. The vibe at this moment between Dorian and Eve is like this weird mix of like almost bullying but extreme horniness. It's very emotionally confusing. This is where I put it. Okay, so scaring her turns him on. Being scared turns her on, and also he turns her on because he's so hot. So the chemistry is like there's a very small, they're threading the needle.
Yeah.
Lee is threading the needle on this one, and she does a fantastic job of it, because this is not the kind of book I enjoy reading most of the time, and I really enjoyed this book.
Okay. Right
So-
now, I really don't like Dorian. I hope I am rooting for him to do even one redeemable thing.
Oh, okay. After they get out of the car, Sierra tells them that they will be paired together for the game as well. Eve was sort of hoping to avoid Dorian during the actual party, but
no. Really?
yeah.
What?
So there's some forced proximity for you instead. She briefly confronts Sierra about this, thinking that Sierra is back on her make Eve my sister by marriage bullshit plan that she had for a long time. But Sierra says it's actually because a coworker from another department is coming to this party, and she wants some time to like get to know him without her older brother around.
Why is
So Eve is distracting Dorian so that Sierra can get with a guy named Jamie. That's what's happening here.
So she needs her best friend to run interference on her emotionally stunted, malcontent brother.
Yeah, I guess kinda.
Jesus Christ. He's
Yeah.
32 and we can't take him out in public.
Oh.
Could you just run interference on him so I can have a conversation, a normal conversation with another adult that doesn't involve my brother trying to pants the guy I want to fuck?
Oh my God. I did not expect you to have this visceral of a reaction to Dorian.
Same.
This is wild right now. I feel defensive on behalf of the book.
No.
Shut up. This was great.
Again, rooting for him to do one redeemable thing.
Well, depends on whether or not you define orgasms as redeeming.
Not really.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Well, fuck.
It better be a really good orgasm. She had better exclaim out loud, "This redeems you for all the shit you've done to me." And then I'll be like, okay, fair.
Okay.
She said it redeems him.
While they are decorating and preparing the dining room, Dorian scares Eve with a fake roach under a place setting.
Classic.
Yeah. Again, because he enjoys the sounds of her screams. Okay. Sierra leaves briefly to pick up the food for the catered event, asking them to please prepare the maze because there's a hedge maze on the property. Another hedge maze.
I did not think when we started this podcast that the phrase hedge maze would come up even once.
Yeah.
And now here it is twice.
Did you think that the phrase orgasm in a hedge maze would ever come up in your life? Because it's going to happen twice.
Nope.
Nope.
Didn't see that coming.
Neither did she. Okay. Eve. Are you okay?
I just hate that Dorian's going to get laid. It's making me so mad.
Oh, I'm sorry. So Eve and Dorian argue about this prank. The argument ultimately ends when Dorian is very seductive in pointing out that her nipples are hard, she's blushing, and she is panting, and he would bet $5 that she's wet.
And he's 32?
Yeah. Well, he's in his early 30s.
Christ, man, this is not how you... okay, anyway.
And he points out that in all this time, all these years that he's been pranking her, she has never once asked him to stop doing it. Because if she had said stop, he would have.
I don't believe it.
You can only take him at at face value. He would have stopped if she'd said stop.
Okay. I'll take him at face value.
Thank you. So he walks away, leaving her completely reeling. This is her fear play awakening. This is when she's starting to realize that, oh, fuck, he's right. I am like wet as the ocean right now. I don't know. Wet as the sun. There's no... There's no analogy for being wet.
No. Well, I mean, there is. We just generally don't use them in relation to vaginas.
No, we really don't.
Because I think just, I'm wet. I think pretty much says all it needs to be said.
It doesn't reach the hyperbolic heart that I have. Like, I just love hyperbole so much. It's me like, I am wet as the Mississippi River or something. That needs to be a thing.
Did I sit on a water balloon? Okay, see? That's why we don't do that.
Okay, fine. Lesson learned.
Drown a toddler in my panties.
Oh, God. I hated that line so much. I blocked that shit out.
Okay.
That is a line from Archer, listeners, several years ago.
And what have we learned?
Not to do that.
Nick Castellanos, what did you learn? Not a damn
Not
thing.
a damn thing.
That's right.
All right, so at this point in the book, we switch to Dorian's perspective.
Oh, goody.
Which is what redeems him in my eyes. Dorian has been in love with Eve since they were teenagers.
Okay.
Deeply unrequited, rip your heart out, in love with this woman. But he realized it when he was 17 and she was 14, and he was like, oh no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
So instead, he put a wall of pranks and jump scares in between them to keep his distance and kind of make her not want to approach him and be around him. He gave her space all through college. She had her long-term boyfriend. He wasn't going to get in the way of that. He went and lived his own life. But now they are both adults, and he is very attracted to her, and he is still in love with her.
But can't break them old habits.
Nope, sure can't.
If I act different, she'll think I'm weird.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what his reasoning was.
Nah,
I guess it's just, it's hard to break out of your patterns.
That's fine. And that again, I mean, I understand. I mean, I think back to the pitcher's assistant and like some of the real toxic shit.
Oh yeah.
But the spit, I mean, it's the spitting in the drinks thing that was the line. I mean, you remember when I was working at the restaurant?
Yes, I do.
And our mutual friend Kevin warned our boss who was going to prank me by pouring soy sauce into my drink that I had back by the grill, and he was like, "Carl will kill you."
Yeah, he literally will.
No. He will murder you.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Oh, you just don't like anybody who messes with people's food.
I don't like people who mess with other people's food, but then spitting in a bunch of drinks.
Yeah.
That's what pissed me off. I will let that go and pretend it didn't happen for the sake of the book and you.
Okay.
I love you.
Oh, I love you too. So, he thinks Eve is perfect and wonderful and magical and lovely, and he wants to see her naked really bad. There you go. The inside of his head is basically like a 24/7 Eve like combination, like porno and teenage girl love diary. Like he just loves this woman so much.
So she's like the living physical embodiment of a Burger King, Long John Silver, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut.
Yeah, the Taco Bell Pizza Hut.
Yep,
exactly. Dorian goes out to the maze, which is fake. It's not a real hedge maze. It's made out of plastic. It's made out of like fake Christmas tree material.
But it's still a maze though, right?
But it is a maze.
Okay.
It's definitely a full-on hedge maze. I just think it's hilarious that it's not a real hedge maze because that takes too much maintenance. It's a fake hedge maze. The maze is normally used for weddings, so he decorates it to be all spooky, and he takes a picture and gets Sierra's approval for his work before he goes back inside because this is her thing and he wants to make sure it's perfect for her. Inside, he finds Eve on the hearth of the fireplace on a chair on her tiptoes, taping bats to the chimney.
And they say this is why men live shorter than women. That is a real dude move.
Yeah, that's a dumb ass move. So he pervs on her momentarily because she's on her tiptoes on a chair.
Yeah, you got to.
But then she starts to fall, and he catches her before she falls, and the chair goes flying.
Okay, see? Redemption. There
you go. She bickers with him about this. She's seriously like, Dorian, why would you do that? He's like, why would I save your life? What? I caught you from killing yourself by cracking your head on this hearth.
Yeah. Next time you try that, I'll let you fall and die.
Sure. Why not? Then this bickering becomes a banter, which becomes an absolutely filthy flirt. This scene was incredibly sexy. It was all just words. It was incredibly sexy. He implies that he could make her come 5 times before she even knew what hit her. And she starts laughing because she doesn't think that's possible. Like, she's like, 5 times? Yeah, right. Sure, buddy. Whatever. 5. Yeah. And then he's like, more like a dozen, my girl, at least. And she's completely incredulous. Okay, she just doesn't think the human body is capable of doing that. Ultimately, though, so Dorian reveals that he is a true, what I would call like a pleasure dom, a real pleasure dom, or a pleasure. There's a word I'm trying to think of. It would make me sound smart if I knew it, but I don't.
That's okay.
He derives pleasure from giving his partner pleasure. The more times they come, the better he feels. He has now set the bait for her. She's very interested in this, but also she thinks he's maybe pranking her. Like, she's not sure if he's full of shit. Then Sierra comes back, so then all that has to end very quickly. Yeah. While preparing the dinner, Sierra and Eve have a conversation. Sierra offers Eve an exit, saying that she doesn't have to stay if she's that creeped out by this place and Dorian and all that stuff. But Eve will be staying. She thinks that Sierra, A, deserves for this party to go well, and B, deserves a chance to flirt with this hot guy. So she'll take Dorian out of the equation for a little while. She then mentions that Dorian is now fucking with her by like implying that he can make her come a bunch of times.
You'll never believe what your brother told me.
Yeah, it's basically like, and then he said that he could give me 12 orgasms, and that's like, he's just so full of shit. And Eve's like, no, he can really do that.
Wait, Eve is like that? Or?
No, I'm sorry, Sierra.
So Sierra knows this about her brother.
Yes. Would you like to know why?
I would not. I really don't, but you're going to tell me, aren't you?
At a party, Sierra got food poisoning from a taco truck and spent an hour shitting her brains out on the toilet. And she got trapped in there when Dorian brought his date into the room, like the bedroom adjacent, and she heard him give a woman 15 consecutive orgasms in 20 minutes before she tapped out, before the woman was like, no more, I'm done. She was sitting there with fucking lava butt while her brother fucked some woman on the other side of the wall. Lee Jacko, if you're out there, I think you're a genius.
That's like one of 3 explanations I would accept.
I know, right?
Now,
there's no other way I would have accepted that except for it was the most unholy, awful experience of my life to learn this information.
I can just see Lee Jacko twirling around in an office chair, absent-mindedly tossing a crumpled ball of paper in the air, going, "How am I going to explain this?"
Right?
I got it.
Food poisoning.
Yeah. She's shitting her brains out.
The answer is always food poisoning.
It's always food poisoning.
Yeah. So they finished that conversation.
That totally normal conversation that people have all the time.
Yeah. And Sierra then reiterates that that Eve can leave whenever she wants. The exit is still on the table. You can go if you want to go.
You know, it wasn't your brother spitting in the Clearly Canadian that made me want to go, but you telling me that story, that's what made me want to go. So
I am both leaving and changing my identity and leaving the country. I can't be around this. No, Sierra leaves, and Dorian comes in. He has overheard Sierra's offer of letting Eve leave early, and he's basically like, "You can't. Don't do that." And he's kind of dommy about it. Like, this is more of a dom play situation where he's taking control, and it's Eve's sort of first look into what Dorian's dom personality is like. Then they go and they serve the food. The meal is very tense. Sierra's team is dysfunctional as fuck. At one point, Eve spends a little too long looking at a good-looking guy at the table, and Dorian gets all jealous and like comes over to like help her serve the food because he just can't take it. Again, a little emotionally stunted.
A little?
Yeah. I'm being generous by saying a little.
Yeah.
The whole point of the jealousy is just in that moment to start flipping Eve's perspective of Dorian. Why is he jealous? Why is he jealous? What is he feeling right now that isn't his normal being a piece of shit or being kind of shitty? Then there is another incredibly horny, incredibly hot, but completely chaste. Again, there's no touching of any kind scene in the kitchen that leaves Eve considering taking the deal. And she's like, it would just be once, right? It would just be a hate fuck just to get it out of my system. I just need to get this out of my system and then I'll be done. After all, he said he could deliver on major orgasms, so you might as well, right? You might as well.
And his food poison addled sister.
She swears it's real.
She swears. She wasn't hallucinating from the food poisoning.
You ever eaten tacos so bad you hallucinated your brother fucking a woman?
Giving her 15
orgasms in 20 minutes?
No, just me? Wow, that's an oddly specific thing to hallucinate.
There's going to be a study about it in a journal. The doctors tell me they've never heard anything like that before.
I'm a medical miracle.
The thing is, I didn't think that this book was going to be that funny. I was like, oh no, I hope we can come up with some good jokes about the fear play and pleasure doming, and you're just out here fucking swinging for the fences.
I'm having a good comedy day.
Yeah, you are. You're having a good
And I'm just
comedy
imagining listeners just turning off. This guy's not that funny.
This guy
Click.
sucks.
I had food poisoning so bad once I hallucinated that exact thing.
I'm so sorry. Can I make a donation to the organization I am sure you started for that?
If there's one of us, there's more of us. You're never alone.
No, you're never alone with food poisoning, orgasm hallucination, anonymous.
Okay.
We actually have to get back to the story now. Okay, so they keep serving dinner. There's a lot of flirty bantering back and forth every time they go to the kitchen. At one point, Eve spills soup on her hand and he licks it off of her fingers, which should not have been as hot as it was. Lee, what the fuck?
Well, how long did they wait before they served it?
A while. It was catered. They got it in a big
Oh, you
thing.
mean? I thought you meant how hot the soup was.
Oh. No. I'm so confused because my dog is whining really hard right now. Just Anyway, no, the soup wasn't hot. It was the finger licking that was arousing.
Welcome to the joke.
Yeah. At the appropriate time, Dorian cuts the lights while she is standing in the pitch black kitchen waiting for the next step in the night to happen. Dorian comes in. She can tell it's him even in the dark. How? I don't know. He holds her from behind. He muffles her mouth and he whispers again, just some absolute filth into her ears. This man is a very good dirty talker, as they often are in the books. At the appropriate, let's see. He then leaves her hanging because he has to go and do more stuff for the party.
Yeah.
The lights come back on and the murder mystery portion begins. Dorian and Eve's first stop in their investigation is the attic, and then they will have 15 minutes in each room to investigate, and then move on to another room when they get a sound cue.
Okay.
On the way up the stairs to the attic, Eve teases Dorian by going up first in her tiny French maid costume.
Good. Yes.
In the attic, the teasing has broken Dorian. He comes up behind her while she's in front of a mirror. He holds her to him. He takes her by the throat in a dommy way, not in a threatening way.
Yeah.
Again, whispers just absolute filth into her ear and fingers her for 2 hard orgasms until she basically falls on the ground. Consensually.
Of course.
At this point. He calls it a warm-up, and she's like, a warm-up? What the fuck are you talking about? A warm-up. 2 is not enough for Dorian. It's not even close to enough for Dorian. He wants to make her come until she passes out. Like, that's all he wants out of life. Hell yeah, man. Get to it then. In the next room, which is the dining room, they find their murder mystery clue, and then they have a check-in. Dorian checks to make sure that Eve is okay with everything that happened in the attic. He wants her so fucking desperately, but because he's been in love with her since he was like 17, but he doesn't want to scare her by coming on too strong with his dom daddy stuff, so he checks in with her. When she tells him that she doesn't know her own sexual limits because they have never been tested, he's like, oh, good. I'm just the man for the job then. He hopes that he can end their like emotional standoff with sex at this point. So she asks him for another orgasm, and of course he obliges her. He has her turn off the lights and then come straddle him on a chair. And then there's some body control, some don't move a muscle stuff. He gets her to orgasm with nipple play alone, which is impressive. And then they have like a fully clothed grind to a second orgasm for her. So now she's had 4. So when they're finally done with all this, she has had 4 orgasms at this point. 4 orgasms in about 20 minutes. He finally allows himself to kiss her, and that's it. He's done. He's gone. Yeah. He's made her come. He's kissed her. He's never letting this woman go. Absolutely not. He asks to take her somewhere private, and she argues that the game is still going on. And he's like, fuck the game. I need to have my mouth on you immediately. So they go to the billiards room where he puts her up on the pool table and eats her out. Quite expertly, I guess, because she comes again. And then when she has come down from that, he checks in again. They establish a safe word at some point in all of this as well. She is all sassy and kind of bratty and like, I can take whatever you can dish out. They have a very like sort of bickery thing for the rest of their relationship, for the rest of time. It's cute and flirtatious, but also like, I'm pretty sure she'll deck you. Be careful. Be careful. He challenges her to a contest. If he finds the murderer first, she will be his after tonight. Like they will be together. If she finds the murderer first, not going to happen because he wants her too bad. That's what he tells her. He's like, you're not going to because I want you too bad.
I'll kill somebody and then confess. And then you'll wait for me.
Yep.
Because
you will
I
wait for
won.
me in prison. She says that she wants one more orgasm. Luckily, Dorian came prepared with a tiny vibrator on a chain that he wears as a necklace. Have you ever seen sex jewelry before?
No.
Yeah, okay. This is a thing. People carry them around on their... vibrator jewelry. It's like a thing.
I mean, yeah, like one of those multi-tools... Or like one of those things you keep in your car in case you crash off of a bridge and you got to cut the seatbelt. That makes sense. vibe. I mean, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
And here I am claiming to be a sexual Boy Scout.
I know, right? You're not even that prepared. You didn't know sex necklaces were a thing.
No, because I've taught myself to. What if I don't have my sex necklace?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. You don't need tools. You can do it with your hands.
I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
the tool, but if sex happens in a pinch, oh, sorry, don't have my sex necklace. Guess I
Yeah.
can't. Nah, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, so it's just like a
Yeah,
long
I-
metal thing on a chain, and it's a vibe. It works.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
just I was today years old when I learned it was a thing.
Oh, I'm so glad I got to teach you something today. So Dorian bought this for her, but he never thought he would have the chance to use it, but he's been wearing it around her just in case for a long time, apparently.
What the entire fuck, man? Okay.
I'm telling you, man, pining. He's been pining and horny for years. So he gets her all worked up until he can finally get her to admit that she was turned on by being scared by him and that she has fantasized about being chased by him. Like, it's not a primal play thing. This is a fear play thing.
Yeah.
She wants to be chased in a scary way.
SED, not STE.
Yeah. 2 more orgasms later, she is finally spent, and they go to clean her up and continue trying to solve the mystery. Although, like, you're like 6 or 7 orgasms in now. I don't think anybody is going to judge you if you can't solve Clue.
No, everybody else. I guarantee you the game right now is everybody else has given up on the murderer and trying to figure out where the fuck is Eve and Dorian.
Well, no, they're in groups of 2 and they're rotating rooms exactly as they've been told to by Sierra. So nobody's wondering where they
There are
are.
other people go, I think this house is haunted. I keep hearing a woman
Screaming. It just adds to the ambiance.
I think there was somebody who died from
Yep.
fucking.
Yep. There's a big puddle on a chair. Look. Ectoplasm.
God damn it. Beat me to it.
Yeah, suck it. I got the joke first. After finding the next clue in the next room, Eve realizes that Dorian is the only one who could be the murderer in this group. And for a second, I forgot that this was a murder mystery. I was like, he's a fucking murderer? Holy shit.
It's almost like, it's more like Sexy Among Us.
Yeah, it is a bit like Sexy Among Us, isn't it?
He's the imposter.
He's the imposter. So he offers her a 10-second head start.
10-second head
A
start.
10-second head start to reach the center of the maze.
Healthy snack, Rebecca.
A healthy snack, Rebecca. Fuck, quoting old Vines, and just dating myself so bad. He offers her a 10-second head start to reach the center of the maze and tell Sierra first so that she can win. He gives her 10 seconds. She takes off her shoes and she sprints. She sprints through the house, across the grounds, and into the maze at full tilt.
Sierra or Eve? Because you said Sierra.
Eve.
Okay. Just checking. I thought you were trying. I thought he was trying to get rid of his sister.
No, I didn't say Sierra. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So she takes her shoes off. She sprints into the maze. She is terrified but exhilarated because she knows that Dorian is chasing behind her. And she gets about 3/4 of the way into the maze before she realizes that nobody's here. Dorian lied to her. They are all alone in this maze. And she realizes, like, well, fuck yeah, why would Sierra leave her group if she's trying to foster teamwork? Why the hell would she leave them alone? Fuck,
Because
he got me again.
Curse my 7 orgasms deep brain.
Exactly. Yeah, it's too fucked to think straight. So Dorian chases her through the maze. She eventually thinks that she has found the exit and is going to go find Sierra, but he snatches her. He catches her, he pins her, and finally, fucking finally, he fucks her. So he shoves her panties into her mouth to keep her quiet.
Which,
Not for me,
not great.
but she likes it.
Good for her.
And that's all that matters. And then they have, right there on the grounds, they have just like the most intense sex. It starts in missionary, and then they go to reverse cowgirl, but on their knees. until she comes 2 more times. She squirts, which is a thing she's never done before. And Dorian is like, ha ha ha, yes. He loves having firsts of hers. So he's like very excited to be able to say that he got her to do that. And then finally, he also comes and he's like, I didn't last as long as I wanted to. Fuck. God damn it. I wanted to go for way longer, but he's too turned on by being with her. So he declares then that it is time to go home and clean her up and get her some rest. On their way out, they run into Sierra, who sees their freshly fucked forms and is all excited because her best friend and her brother finally realize they're in love with each other. Hooray! And he takes her home. In the car, he confesses that she has him forever. He never wants to be with anyone else ever again. And she's like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Because she can't possibly like be vulnerable around him. She's too snarky for that. And I think the last thing she says is like, as long as I can have all of the Canadian waters or something. So call back. That is the end of the book. And there is an epilogue.
There's always an epilogue.
Always an epilogue. Some years later, I don't know how long, Dorian and Evelyn are now married, and tonight they will be attending Sierra and Jamie's engagement party. So hooray!
Oh,
Sierra
hey.
and Jamie got their shit together after their first date at a murder mystery party.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember catching Jamie's name.
Oh, I think I only said it like once. It's not particularly relevant, so I don't think I talked about it too much. Dorian and Eve are deeply in love and very, very happy. We enter the scene in the epilogue just in time for Eve to reach her 24th orgasm in a row. Yeah. It is her most so far. They are trying to work her up. Dorian is taking his time and being very patient with her, but he is trying to work her up. He is hoping to one day achieve getting her to 60 orgasms in a single day. Just kill her.
Yeah. Seriously.
Just fill her full of some kind of really good drug and drop her off a cliff. It's going to feel the same to her either way.
Right.
So you might as well just kill her. They finish. He is very proud. He's very good at the aftercare and the praise part of being a pleasure dom. He picks her up and carries her into the bathroom where he washes her and massages her and tells her how good of a job she did. Once she is all relaxed and happy, he suggests that she go and take a nap before they go and celebrate his sister and Jamie also finding love. And they all lived hornily ever after. The end. That was Hallows Grove by Lee Jacot. May or may not have been the most emotionally taxing book so far for Carl.
You go spitting in drinks.
Yeah.
That's you know what?
That's the end of it.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me.
Figured.
That's fucking nasty.
Yeah.
That's fucking gross.
Okay. I accept that. I do.
Especially in this day and age, man. Like you just.
I mean, to be fair.
Great. How did I get COVID?
Yeah.
Because some asshole spit in a clearly Canadian.
Yeah. I did say that you have to take him at face value and believe what he says, as you have to with all characters, but I choose to believe that he didn't. I choose to believe he just cracked them all to make her uncomfortable and say that he spit in them all, but he didn't actually do it.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It makes it easier for me to digest personally, because the idea of drinking someone's spit makes me want to throw up.
And that's fair. And I used to do that to my sister all the time. We would play cards, usually like two-handed euchre or something, because we didn't have anybody else to play euchre with. And if I was on a particularly good run, I would just convince her that I had stacked the deck.
Oh, yeah.
I never did.
Yeah.
But I convinced her that I did.
Yeah, but if you can convince someone of something, then it's as good as doing. Yeah.
All right. I'll stand down.
All right.
That said, other than that, I very much enjoyed it. I know that you might have been like, wow, Carl doesn't like this. I'm very much enjoying this. I just didn't like that shit.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
But otherwise, it was great.
It was great. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Well,
personally.
it was a fine addition to Spooky Sputtober. Spooky Smuttober. But now that that's over, what are you into?
This week I am into my friends. I mean, that's really, I'm still just, what?
Because you're always saying wonderful, sweet things. And I'm like, I like this song.
Oh.
I read a book.
Well, yeah, but I just okay. This week, truly, what I am into is joyful, happy, teenaged experiences.
Yeah.
Because my friend Rose, the reason I saw her today was because I was helping her get a convertible for her son because he is on the junior homecoming court, and she wasn't even aware of how well liked her son was at this school because he's kind of a weirdo, just like the rest, like everybody in our friend groups is just a bunch of weirdos. Yeah. And it turns out that he is so well liked that when his name was announced at the pep rally today, the entire junior class just cheered for him so loud that it surprised a teacher, and she texted Rose like, "You will not believe what just happened." And I think that's beautiful and brilliant and wonderful, and I am so glad that he is having an experience that 15 years ago he never would have been able to have, because we talked about this earlier today, you and I. Back when I graduated from high school, which was 07, so 16 years ago, and you 26 years ago.
27.
That's true, 27.
Yeah.
Being a weirdo was not as easy to do. And while yes, bullying still exists, and cyberbullying in particular is a big problem, sometimes you hear stories of weird fucking kids being absolutely beloved by their entire class. And that just makes me so happy. So that's what I'm into this week.
Me too. I very much love that as well. And like I said, I'm 45 years old. The internet wasn't really a thing when I was younger, but I've said this before, like when Glee was first on, and the biggest lie that Glee told was that the kids in the Glee Club were cool and popular, because when I was in Glee Club, I got beat up and made fun. And I was a jock too, so it was a really weird existence. So I'm glad that there is a more welcoming environment for the kids who are, for lack of a better term, weird. Yeah. So that makes me happy. I'm into a song. Go figure.
Yep.
A song, or a band in this case, Descartes à Kant. They're named after the philosophers Immanuel Kant, or Kant, I think it's Kant, and Rene Descartes. My disdain for Descartes aside, they named themselves after these two philosophers, and they are fucking amazing. My best friend Rob, he mentioned them to me over the weekend, and I saw their video for After Destruction, which will be linked in the show notes. They're sort of post-punk indie jazz with like this real like theatrical cabaret vibe, and it fucking rips, and it's so goddamn good. So I will link to the video for After Destruction in the show notes, but I highly encourage you to go check them out on your own if you're into that sort of thing. They're a 4-piece from, I believe, Guadalajara, Mexico. So go check that out. And
also, their lead singer is really, really pretty.
Yeah, she's like a sort of like God, it's tough. She definitely got like St. Vincent vibes.
She does have some St. Vincent vibes. I told you when I first saw that video, and I still see it when I watch the video because you watch those videos a lot. She reminds me of the author Megan Montgomery.
Yeah.
She's got a similar kind of facial structure and expression, and they're both very beautiful women. So I'm like, oh, that's Megan Montgomery. Nope, that's Megan Montgomery's doppelganger from Guadalajara. Yeah.
So Descartes à Kant, After Destruction, the whole album that song comes off of came out a couple months ago. It's all great. Go check out some of their older stuff, including the banger "You Ass Fucked My Heart."
What a great name. Yeah. You ass fucked my heart.
I was listening to that song with headphones this past Sunday morning when I was making French toast for our children.
Yeah.
And I told Rob that, I can't remember how I worded it, but I said, there's no bad time to discover that there's a band out there with a song called "You Ass Fucked My Heart," but discovering that while making your two small children French toast on a Sunday morning is probably the funniest time.
Yeah, for sure.
So go check that out. What's on the agenda for week 3 of Spooky Smuttober?
So next week, which we are recording on Friday the 13th, which I just love, although you won't be hearing it until Monday the 16th, we are doing Blood Moon by Gwendolyn Harper, the second part of her zombie apocalypse romance series.
Oh, that's right.
I'm doing that one, and I'm really excited because the week after that, we're interviewing Gwendolyn for the show.
That's right. Our October author profile is going to be Gwendolyn Harper. We are going to be
/ Lauren Devora, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are going to be recording that the week of that episode comes out, and then that will release on the last Friday of the month, which will be October 27th.
Yes. And I'm so excited. I love that we're doing these author interviews. They're like the best. If there is nothing else that comes out of this podcast except for A, I inspired at least one person to write a book. B, some of the best books I have read this year, I feel like I'm friends with their authors now. And I'm like,
it's a nice feeling, isn't it?
It's such a nice feeling.
I used to feel it when I was growing up and going to shows in Flint, and then I got to know the people in the bands that I loved to see, and I'm still friends with some of them.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Yeah. It's crazy because you think of these people as so wholly separate from you, and like they create art that you love, and then you're like, are we friends?
Yeah.
Are we friends? Am I friends with you?
Oh my God, friends.
Yes, it's wonderful. I love it every time.
Me too. But in the meantime, you can find us on social media. We are on Instagram and TikTok at Cheap Smut. If you'd like to send us an email, you can do that, cheapsmutpod@gmail.com. The song that you hear in every episode of Cheap Smut thus far is Nostalgia by Mackay Beats. You can find it along with thousands of other songs free of charge for you to use at the Free Music Archive, freemusicarchive.org. Now, let's wrap this up. Let's go get that whining ass dog out of the crate and enjoy the rest of our evening.
Absolutely, let's do that. Listener, remember, if there is a book in you, write it, and if there's fucking in it, I'll read it.
And then she will come on this show and explain it to me for your entertainment.
Keep enjoying your spooky Smut-tober, babes. Bye!
Bye.